Hi, and today we're just going to go through a little short series of stretches, mostly for the legs, and we're going to be using a band. Now I have an extra long band, but I'm going to just put it into a shortened position or halve it because this is about the length that most people will have in their home. So come along, grab your band, and we're going to lie ourselves down onto the mat. But before we do, maybe let's set up the foot position. So in the middle of your band, place your arch of your foot and then wrap your foot around. So you've got a double connection onto the top and bottom of your foot. And then lying yourself down onto the mat, you've got to have your two elbows down onto the mat surface and your leg as vertical as you can manage it. If it's, got a little bend in the knee, that's okay. The aim is that we're getting a stretch through the back of your thigh area. So keeping the elbows rested and the shoulders broad and wide, you're going to start with your ankle moving up and down. And this is why you'll now know that we wrap the foot, because if you don't wrap the foot, the band's going to want to slip away and lose control. We're going to then take it into an ankle circle. So often when we do ankle circles, you'll hear a few cracks or clicks or pops or all sorts of things going on. Go the other way. And that's quite normal, and it's actually quite healthy for your joints to get mobilized so that they are working for you and not stiff. Now, if you're capable, you can easily stretch the opposite leg down onto the floor. The minute you do that, you'll feel the intensity in the back of your hamstring increase. So from here, we're just going to make a nice mobile circle with our legs. So we're going to cross the center line, moving it down low and out to the side. So remember, if you keep your elbows on the floor as your anchor, you're just moving within a range where everything else can stay as still and as steady as possible. So as we move through the circles, you're not wanting to be wild in your pelvis. It stays steady underneath, like the back of the sacrum is a paperweight, so nice and heavy to the floor. Pause at the top, and then we're going to go in the opposite direction with your movement. When it comes to stretches and mobilizations, you don't have to do a lot of repetitions. You don't have to spend hours. It's more about doing things on a consistent and regular basis that's going to make the changes into your body. When you come to the top, we're going to pause with the leg there, and this is where it becomes a little bit of a challenge for some people. So both straps now come into the opposite hand to the leg that's at the ceiling. The same side hand goes out to the side, and you're going to bring your leg across your midline, but maintaining the back of your hip on the floor. So don't try and bring the leg across. That's not the aim here. It's a stretch coming down the side of your leg, which is more of a nerve type of stretch. We call that neural. And then if you have it in you, to rotate your thigh bone inward, which will make your foot look in as well. That's a really deep stretch too. Now, hopefully you could even pull that leg a little closer up towards your shoulder, but with all those things still staying in place. Stretches are best done anywhere between 30 seconds to about a minute. Please don't stay here for 3 minutes. And then we're going to slowly ease out of that, change the hand position, other arm out to the side. And then you're going to pull the leg to the side. Now, if you have capacity, place the elbow on the floor like a kickstand so that you can hold your leg suspended up. This hip is very important. Again, it's a grounding foot, a grounding pelvis. So you're not leading off to the side as your leg goes. If you can be there comfortably and challenges your game, then bring your leg up a little higher towards the top corner of your mat. Feel like you're pushing out of the opposite leg, and you'll feel a lot more balanced through that stretch. And then we're going to bring your leg back into the center. We're going to unfold the foot position and then straighten the leg out along the mat. So here's a really important time to notice the two sides. Obviously, we've done stuff on one side, but what is the effect you can feel on your side that you've done? most likely we'll feel a longer leg, maybe a little more weighted into the floor. It could feel lighter. Everybody feels something a little bit different, but the point is there is change between the two sides. So that's what we want our nervous system to take note of. Let's bring the other foot up, wrap your foot around, and then let's set you all the way back to the start. So your foot is towards the ceiling, your elbows are down towards the mat. We can begin again with your right knee folded, or my right knee is folded, and flex and point through the ankle joint. If you know you've got great mobility in your legs and in your muscles, then of course slide the opposite leg out along the floor already. Let's go into ankle circles both ways. So we're doing roughly 6 of each move here, and then going in the opposite direction. So when you're circling your ankle, you shouldn't be circling at your hip, so make sure that your leg is still as vertical as possible, and then slide your opposite leg away, and remembering that's going to produce a little bit more work at the back of that leg. Moving into your circle, across the body it goes, down and all the way out and up. So sometimes when you have support like this, you tend to want to go further than what your joints are actually capable of doing. So making sure that you haven't gone into a range that could be potentially dangerous for you. So just making your circle smooth, and it doesn't matter, no one's looking at how big your circle is. What we're after is making sure your hip joint feels good. Change direction of the circle, and maybe you hear some things happening in your hip. Maybe it's this side, maybe it was the other side. A lot of people ask, is it normal to hear some cracking or popping or grinding in my hip? My answer is yes, it probably is. As long as it doesn't produce pain, then you should be fine. All right, holding your space up here, take both strands into the opposite hand, pull the leg gently across, keep your pelvis down. Take some good breaths in and out. So this might be enough. Maybe pull it up a little higher, that might be enough. Or then rotating the thigh inward, and that's the ultimate. So the 3 moves, across, up, and inwardly rotated. Produces great stretch down the leg. And then we're going to move that leg across the center line and over to the opposite side. So hand goes to the wide part, maybe elbow is down as your support, leg can press out. So you don't want to feel like you're collapsing or straining to hold your leg in the air. So if you can't rest your elbow down, maybe your hand is holding up a little bit higher like that. Do whatever needs to be done to support your leg where it is the most comfortable. And as this leg is over to the side, again, you can climb that leg a little higher up to the corner of your mat, feeling the other leg reaching down the mat. And make sure your opposite shoulder is also steady underneath. And then we'll bring that leg all the way back into the center. And then undoing that. Again, just rest your 2 legs out in front of you and notice how that feels. I just had a nice crack in my ankle. And you should feel like you're back into balance on the 2 sides. All right, so from here, let's come and do just a little bit of stretching work through our upper body. So bringing yourself over to a side, and I'm actually going to turn away from you as we're going to do a stretch for our shoulders. So sit into a position that's comfortable for you. If kneeling like this is not good, go into high kneeling or stand or even sit on a normal chair. So you're going to take the band and you're going to take it behind the back of your body. Might need to reposition this. So taking one hand behind the back of you and then the other arm up towards the ceiling. The shorter the hold, the tighter the stretch. So we're going to extend the arm up toward the ceiling and then bending it coming back. Now, when we do these exercises, if you've got long hair, make sure that you haven't poked your head forward out of the way of the band. It's just a band. It's not going to harm you. It might brush up and make your hair electric, but that's all it's going to be doing. And go for 2 more, stretching the arm high and then fold and up and down. And then we switch sides. So how able and dexterous are you as you switch your two sides? And then again, how much tension you want to hold in the band is entirely up to you as you fold the elbow and straighten the elbow. Pay attention to what happens into your top hand, that you're not bending your wrist backwards, but you're feeling like your knuckles are facing for the ceiling. And we'll go for about 3 more on the side. And 2. And then last one, reaching it all the way up tall, and then bringing it back and through. So from here, we'll keep the band behind you, and you're going to shorten the space between your two hands. And then from this shape, we'll pull those shoulders back and reach your arms behind. You're not quite pulling the band apart, but there is a sense of opening and widening, and then resting it back down again. So bringing the shoulder blades closer, the collarbones wider, the arms reaching out, and feeling like you're going to stretch the band rather than physically stretching the band. So shoulders, arms, and long through the back of you. So we'll do one more like that together this way. And this is really going to help in opening your chest up. And then we'll turn to face camera, and we'll finish with our most famous one, which is turning the palms to face up towards the ceiling, holding the band lightly in your hands, elbows just at the side of your waist. Try not to squeeze them in, but just holding them easy at your side, and then moving the two forearms away from each other. So we create resistance on the band as we move the arms out, and then bringing them back in again. Keeping the forearms at the same height. You don't want to drop your forearms or curl your arms in towards you. It's as though they were just sliding out and sliding in. And we'll go for another 3 and 2 and 1. All right, while we're here, let's bring the hands to face forward. Bring your arms out in line with your shoulder position, and we're going to go for a big wide stretch as you pull the band apart, opening it out, and then bringing it back in again. And again, widen the arms and narrow the arms. So I'm not relaxing the band all the time. I'm just keeping it at a nice distance where I've got a little bit of elasticity in the band as I start. And I'm watching my wrist alignment again, so I'm not bending my wrists in. I'm keeping the feeling of pushing out from my baby finger side. And then 1 more to go. And then our last and final move is going to take the arms above the top of our head. So again, you can stay in the high kneeling position, or you could sit down onto your feet, and you're going to raise your arms straight up and then bringing them back down again. As the arms are traveling up towards the ceiling, you're not going to do anything with the band except hold it at the same space. So if this was a pole or a dowel, you're not going to create any change as the arms just raise and lower. But because it's a band, on the next one, we're going to have a little bit of fun. So you may need to move those hands a little wider as you take the arms up, stretch the band, and bring the arms back behind. And then raising the arms from behind, stretching on the band to bring it all the way forward. You're going to keep doing it this way. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see that as we go up, you're not going to flare your ribs out or push your hips forward. Everything stays as is, and it's all this lovely opening mobility work in your shoulder area. Raise, pull, lower, and raise, pull, lower. And we'll do 1 more together as we bring those arms up and around. Remember to put your hands in positions where you can do this with ease. You don't want to feel like you're dislocating your joints through the moves. Well, that was our band series for a little bit of stretches for lower body and upper body. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in another video soon.